I don't want to be challenged.
I just want to be numb. That's all I want.
Art, horse, art, horse, art, horse, art, horse, art, too cheap to buy jingles. Art, horse, art, horse, art, too cheap to buy jingles. Hey, so this is it. Okay, do you want to do the intro thing? Because I think I did it last time.
Okay. Hi, you're listening to Art Horse,
a silly and serious podcast about creativity and stepping out of your comfort zone.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Fiona. And this is episode 15.
Woohoo!
And any image that we talk about you can find on our Instagram at ArtHorsePod.
Also, I think we've never mentioned this, but like when we talk about something, we usually leave a link about it in the show notes. And so if we mentioned a book, or if we mentioned like a workshop or a person or a poem, I think I put up there last time.
Robert Service.
Yeah, you can find those links in the show notes, which is on our website or on your podcast app.
Yep. It's early morning for both of us.
Right.
It's 11 a.m. for me.
Don't you usually get up at like 5? So this is like old hat.
5 p.m.
Okay, so the schedule is shifting. How is it going this week as compared to last week?
Oh, better. In case anyone listened to last week's episode, I got dumped and I was complaining about it. I was listing my woes at the beginning of the episode, and I was at a 2 out of 10.
Right.
And today I would say a solid 6.
Wow. Yeah. That's basically back to normal.
Yep. That's about my steady state.
Yeah. Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Was your grieving over on Sunday as you expected?
No, nope. And it's still not over. I think that was silly.
Well,
it didn't work for me. I was like, oh, I'll be sad for a week.
I don't know if that's a possible thing. Like, I don't know if you can be like, Sunday at 8 a.m., it's go time.
I think it was more like behavior oriented. It was like, I can sort of be a little bit lazy for a week.
Like this stuff that you can totally control, like how much you totally.
Like I can have 2 naps a day for a week.
Ooh.
So after a week, I just stopped having. I went back to my normal 1 nap a day. And I feel a lot better. Just
That's good.
Yeah, I don't know what's changed.
Right, it's time. That's what's.
Yep, it's time. How about you?
That's good. So good, doing good. We left Craig's parents' house, and we are at a motel in Christina Lake. So we've started like a
Don't get murdered
trip. I know. So I am in this fabric closet, and the door is unlocked, and I'm low key worried about getting murdered. Like, I don't know. I'm always just a little bit worried about that.
Yeah. I mean,
Not just getting murdered, but like, getting bit by the... I think I have an anxiety problem, and I think it's a bigger problem than it ever was. Like, I think maybe even just naming it as anxiety is like a... Because I don't want to, like, nobody wants to have anxiety. You'd rather be, like, having a heart attack. Like, sorry, I don't mean to say that, but you know what? Like, if it's, like, a one-off thing, it's, like...
Yeah, totally.
More, yeah. So yesterday we're like walking by this creek and there's like bats out, and I was like, do you remember that time when that bat ran into that kid and gave the kid rabies and the kid died?
Ooh.
I'm like, that's something you can't control. Yeah, and I'm just worried about dying from something that I can't control, which murder is lumped into the same category of. Yeah, and so I think I'm also feeling a lot of, like, trip anxiety because, I don't know, I was talking to Greg about it yesterday trying to figure out what it was, but it was, like, what I sort of came up with is, like, I don't know if I can have as much, this is so stupid, but I don't know if I can have as much fun as it seems like I should be having.
Yeah, that's so legit.
Yep.
But you're not on, like, a fun road trip. You're on a road trip with a purpose, right?
Right. It's a road trip with a purpose, but it's also, in some ways, it feels like a way to, like, take back the trip that I wanted to have, like, 2 or 3 years ago, whenever that was. Which, maybe is a big source of anxiety, too. Which is, like, like last
Holding
year...
yourself to some standard of fun.
Yeah.
Is never gonna be fun.
But I just feel like I'm not the fun maker, you know? And I have like a big, like, you know, I can have a good time and be fun when I'm around other people in like a party setting, but like I'm not the one that like brings the fun, you know?
You don't bring the party?
No, exactly. Like I show up and people don't go, finally the fun is here.
I mean, same. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It's hard to be like spontaneous and like look for ways to do interesting, cool new things when you're like, we gotta get gas and we gotta like navigate and we gotta find a place to stay and we gotta find a place to live, which is ultimately your goal, right?
Totally. And so it's like it'll never
You can't be like, let's go catch frogs in the river down by the whatever, because like you don't know where the river is. Cause,
like, or like,
where are you?
Oh my god, exactly, where am I? But like, I think that's exactly it, is like when you're a kid. Oh, I dropped my phone, but everything is still on. Like your parents kind of run the show in a lot, or mine did, I don't know, and like you can make fun within that paradigm almost.
Yes.
And like, I don't know, and this is also the first time in 6 months where we're responsible for like making every meal for ourselves, which is such a like silly, privileged, lucky thing. It's the first night, other than like one night in a motel or a hotel in Fort St. John, that not Fort St. John. God, cut this whole fucking part out. It's one of the first time, maybe like the second time in 6 months where we've been not a guest at someone's house, which is like we are setting our own schedules, and it's like kind of good.
There'll be an adjustment period for sure, because that's hard.
It's different. Yeah. So I'm trying to not be a fun machine. Yeah.
And not be a fun sponge either.
Yeah. So that's my week.
Yeah. And you're on the road, so you don't have a setup to do art.
Yeah. And I feel like as soon as we left my parents' house, like that was true. Like there was nowhere at my grandma's place that I could sit down and do art. And so I just didn't. And then at Greg's parents' place, like, there's a couple of desks and stuff, like, where I could have done art. But, you know, when you sit down, you're like, this doesn't feel like my comfortable, usual setup.
Yeah.
And so I was having all of these feelings last week about, like, I really want to sit down and do art, but I don't. Because I miss it. Like, I feel like when it's really strange. I never thought that I would. But after, like, doing daily birds for so long, it was a habit. And then after that, I would sit down at my desk and, like, do art basically all day, every day. Because, like, I had my own space and my own, like, a room set aside for me where I had a desk. And basically anything that I wanted, I could make. And so I think moving around, I think it's, like, I'm telling myself I don't have my dedicated space and I don't have my, you know, my table or my, I don't know, whatever it is, alone time. But, like, how much of that is all actually just in my head? And, like, how much of that is why me and not what's next? A la Julia Cameron.
Yeah, like, you see people sitting at the bus stop with a sketchbook and they're just, like, drawing somebody.
Totally.
Whereas I need to be in, like, an exactly 21-degree room with, like, you know, a velvet cushion and a snack and all that. Like, yeah, conditions have to be perfect. But then you see some people, they just whip out a sketchbook and sketch something.
Right. And so, I don't know, I feel like that is so much of our own making, almost. And I think maybe that takes practice, but just realizing, like, how powerful would it be if you realized you could do art anywhere?
Totally.
And so one thing that I did this week was, like, right after I had that thought, like, I bet all of this is just completely in my head. I went and I just got my paints and I sat down and I painted, and that's when I painted those things that I showed you.
Those things you showed me. The little typewriter.
Yeah.
They're so pretty.
Yeah, it was really fun, and I didn't use black. Like, I think since that episode where you talked about black, I've stopped using black.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't have black, so...
Okay, perfect.
But I feel more free to not. And I think there's something so pleasurable about sitting down. Like with that, I took a picture because I didn't want it. Like I wanted to be able to just sit down, listen to a podcast, and just draw what I saw. Mm-hmm. And so, like, it didn't take very long, I don't think. Like, I think I did 2 paintings. It took, like, probably 2 40-minute episodes and maybe 10 minutes of the next one.
It's kind of cool. It reminds me of in therapy. I'm always talking about therapy. But we talk about, like, divorcing your thoughts from your actions. So, like, if your thoughts are saying, I can't do this because X, Y, Z, but your body is like, okay, cool. I'm just going to go do it, though. And then you just do it.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that, too. It really helps when I'm, like, in my brain, I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. I need to have a nap. But my body's like, okay, but I'm not going to have a nap because you can't have 3 naps in a day kind of thing. Like, it just helps to, like, oh, it helps so much.
Like, we're actually going to do something else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I loved the paintings that you sent me. I'm really excited for everyone to see them on the Instagram.
I'm so glad you like them. I think something else that I love about them was, like, I have this little sketchbook, and it's, like, you can't rip the pages out. It's, like, a bound sketchbook, and I have such a hard time putting anything on those pages because they're going to be there forever, and you know when you, like, start something, you have a really good idea, and you, like, start something in your notebook, and then you, like, get another idea, or you, like, you leave it sitting there for long enough that you know you just have
it,
like
the
first
crystallizes and then you can't change it.
Yeah, you have the first like 3 pages of like, I don't know, you're like, I'm gonna draw people's butts when I see them at the bus stop, and then then you're like, I can't do this anymore, people are calling the cops or whatever.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah.
And so I have this friend, Alyssa, who she just, like, her sketchbooks are full of everything. Like, she uses, like, pouring medium in them. She'll, like, glue stuff. She'll, like...
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, she'll draw and she'll paint and she'll do watercolor. And, like, the pages are all you know how they get when they get water on them, like, kind of wrinkled. And, like, she doesn't even care. And, like, she puts together these beautiful sketchbooks.
Oh, my God.
And she just goes through them. And I feel like, I was like, you know what? Like, that's what I want to do. So I painted in this paper sketchbook, acrylic paint and paper. And then it's just in there now. And I didn't have a palette to mix paint. So I just mixed around the outside edges. And then, like, whatever. It's not.
I love that.
Yeah.
Maybe you could get like a photo of the book.
Yeah, she has Instagram and she posts on her Instagram all the time.
Okay.
Also, she's like, she does a lot of, I don't know what you would call it, like field trip and then drawing. So she's like kind of, yeah, and she's doing Lynda Barry stuff. She got the Lynda Barry's book, and so she was doing the exercises from there. And she's an art teacher, so she was like teaching her nieces over video. She's just so great. But it felt really good to sit down and paint.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. I kind of had a similar experience in like a micro version of your experience. But basically, like, I had this like big sketchbook lying around. Like, it's the size of like 8 by 11 paper. Like, it's a big one. And I wanted to make myself a new agenda because I always draw my own agendas.
Right.
And so I made... Like, I sketched out a couple of weeks, like, week spreads, and I gave myself, like, a bunch of pages in between each week.
Oh.
So that I can have, like, space to take notes or, like, write whatever the hell or sketch.
Oh.
In the same book that I have my agenda.
Interesting.
And it fucking worked. Like, because I feel like I have about 8 million little notebooks.
Right.
And I'm always like, oh, this one is my new sketchbook. And then I can't remember, or I put it somewhere and I can't find it. Right. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to draw on printer paper. So, like, I'll just take a nap or, like, I'll just do something else. But if this is going to be my new agenda and I give myself all this, like, free paper in between each week.
Wow.
I was just sitting watching a YouTube video of Fran Meneses. I don't know how to say her last name, but she's an illustrator. And my ultimate dream would be to have her on the podcast. But she was doing like a sit down, just like straight into the camera video. And I just was watching, and without thinking, I picked up my pen and I drew her.
Holy.
And like just a quick little sketch, and it was done in like 60 seconds, and I drew her name on it, and I was like, boom, I just did a sketch without agonizing over it.
Wow, without like psyching yourself up and being like...
Yeah, I didn't have to psych myself up. I just picked up the pen and did it.
Wow.
And I didn't have to convince myself to do it, and I didn't have any like, oh, should I like draw something else now, or should I should I make this more detailed? It was just
like trying to ride a wave of...
Yeah. I didn't try to ride the wave. I was just like, oh yeah, there's a sketch. I did it and it's done, and now I'm gonna just keep watching the video.
Or I guess like that was the wave, and you weren't trying to like make it a bigger wave than
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. And I think that like I have a hunch that this whole artist's way thing is helping. Like I think
really,
yeah. It's like a 12-week program, but I haven't been doing it, 1 week per week, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I've been sort of taking. Yeah, I've been stretching them out because I've been so fucking busy.
Yeah,
but I've been like basically been doing this for like 3 months now, and I'm on week 6. And I feel like just regularly reading about creativity. I don't know. Like I don't know what it is. I just feel like someone, or even myself, has just given me permission to do art, and it has somehow it's starting to basically sink in.
Wow.
And I feel like it feels so good.
Holy, that's really cool.
Yeah, or at least, it did when I just picked up this pen and drew a sketch of Fran. That felt like just like complete permission. I didn't even have to think about whether I should or I was allowed, or if it would
or
be
you
good.
deserve to.
I deserve to. Yeah.
Wow.
So I feel like something, I can't pinpoint what exactly it is, but something in all of this work I think has been working for me.
Huh. That's so cool.
Which is really exciting, yeah.
Because I remember, like, if you compare it to, I guess, how you felt about sketching, there was one time you went to the cabin and you sketched, and you were like, I love sketching. I only ever do it once a year.
Yeah. Literally. Because the last drawing in that sketchbook was from a year before.
Right. Totally.
Or like more than a year.
Wow. So something has shifted in a way.
Something has shifted a little bit, and it feels really good.
Like just having more freedom. Like I think I feel that too. Like I feel less, I don't know.
Inhibited?
Yeah.
Me too.
It's working.
It's working.
And I guess like this week we've got a few really lovely emails about people who are, I don't know, not starting again, but starting again, like ready to try again.
Yeah, they're saying like, I've been stuck on XYZ, and they're having these like inklings of, maybe I should like pick up that old sketchbook or pick up that old printing press and get it working again, and which is so exciting to hear. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, because I feel like with those things, like a big shift sometimes happens where it's like it changes the structure of your day, it changes your mood, it changes, all of this stuff, like how you feel about yourself. Like art is so good for you, and so like it's so amazing to hear people picking up pens again, or like picking up printing again. I guess because it's like I know that means like something really good is coming, and it's so cool.
It's so exciting. Yeah, so if you've been holding out on us, please write us an email. We love them, and we write back.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't yet,
really
but
fun.
We are writing.
We are in the process of writing back.
Yeah.
Tell me about scavenging for and painting rocks.
So we went out for a walk on like the hottest day in July, and we went down to the river and
to pray.
So, and then we all walked around looking for rocks, and like So there's this not artist date, but like task in the Artist's Way where Julia says, go pick up like 5 rocks.
Yes, that was in week 6.
Oh, awesome. I never did that one.
Okay.
So I did it for your week 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, we like went out and we were walking through the riverbed and there was all of these like beautiful colored rocks, like all different colors, all different like shapes, really like rounded and smooth. And so like everybody, like Greg's mom and dad and Greg and me, we all picked like a few rocks, like 2 to 5 rocks, basically, a handful. And we like went home and we painted them, and Greg's mom got out these huge trays of like acrylic paint, and we had just a friggin' field day of it, and it was so joyful and fun to paint. Like, it was like everyone sitting around the table focused, like there was no music playing, everyone was just like focused on painting. Yeah. And I think it was so fun to watch other people's rocks come together.
Yes, and I loved the rock you did of Greg. It looks exactly like him.
Greg, like, we're in the river, and Greg, like, hands me this rock, and he's like, look, it already has hair. And it, like, did. It had, like, this weird rock on top that was hair, and I was like, I know whose hair that is.
Devious look on his face. It's the best thing I've seen in a long time.
I think it's interesting to paint a face, because, like, I got to the mouth, and I redid it, like, probably like 3 or 4 times in different, like, completely different mouth shapes.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to watch a face come together, because with every step there's a different feeling to it. Like, when you give it eyes that look, you know, a certain way, or, you know, a mouth or nose. Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, I accidentally drew sad eyes. Now I have to draw a sad mouth.
Right. Now I have to make his eyebrows angry to sort of confuse the emotion. But yeah, there's a lot to a face. Like, we're so programmed to see faces, and so that makes them extra fun.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Definitely go check out the Instagram if you're listening to see this rock. I feel like you need to know what Greg looks like.
So maybe I should take a picture of him making the same face.
You're making the same face, yes.
Okay.
If you will allow.
Yeah. So that was really fun. And it was, I don't know. It's fun to see other people's stuff. And, like, I remember when Lynda Barry, when I met her at a book signing, and she, like, laughed at my drawing and, like, really just noticed all the things about it. And, like, just her noticing encouraged me. Like, she didn't even have to say, like, keep drawing. Like, just her saying, look at what you did. Like, look, the house is on fire and there's someone, like, looking out the door. Like, how hilarious is that? And, like, it's crazy. It's like feeling seen, like, so seen. And so I think I know how good that feels, and I try to, do that with other people, because I think it changes how you look at yourself, and it changes how you feel about art. And it's not, like, not genuine. Yeah. I just get to enjoy noticing stuff and saying it out loud.
And then
like,
telling them. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that we did was we did a couple of Lynda Barry's drawing exercises, similar to, like the ones I did with my dad. Like, they have the draw yourself. She has, like, this I keep calling it autobiographical images, but it's literally a self-portrait. Okay. Like, literally, that's what it is. But you, like, draw your whole body in, like, some imaginary scene. So, like, turning into a monster, or, like, my favorite one, which I always do, which Greg is sick of, is draw yourself as Batman doing something you did.
Oh, yeah.
Today.
I remember those ones.
And it's so ridiculous. And it's just so, the strangest things come up. So, like, Greg was like, I was going to say another one, and I was like, I don't want to do one that Greg has already done because he's going to hate it. And he said, well, what if I make up one? And then he was like, draw yourself as a sea creature out of water. And so everyone drew that, and it was just hilarious. It was hilarious. And then we drew some of the Sister Images stuff from that workshop a couple weeks ago, where you, like, write a little bit about something, and then you draw it, and then you do it again. And it was just so, I really enjoyed doing it with Greg's parents. It was just really nice. Yeah. So that's my quick splurge on that.
A quick splurge. Yeah. Good.
So do you want to tell me about struggling with a big creative investment idea?
Okay. I'll tell you about this. I am on week 6 of The Artist's Way. Week 6 is called Recovering a Sense of Abundance. And I am all tangled up in my ideas of abundance and scarcity and fear.
Oof.
And when she says abundance, there's two things. There's, you know, a general sense, the spiritual abundance, an abundance of options, an abundance of ideas, and then there's money. And so a lot of this chapter was about money, and I am having such a block. There is a section, let me just find it. The very first exercise is called Money Madness and Exercise, and it says complete the following phrases. People with money are: money makes people. I'd have more money if. My dad thought money was. Blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
And I saw this exercise and I was like, oh, not doing that.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh, can't do it, not doing it. And I, I let myself like sort of vaguely read the prompts, and they're really incisive. And I was just like, oh, I can't do that. So I didn't do it. And then interestingly, this week I've been thinking so much about money, and I stayed up one night until 4 a.m. kind of having a long drawn out anxiety thing about my debt. And I was online. It was kind of like the last time when I had like
applying for jobs
that I didn't want,
Googling like crazy. Right.
But this time I was like looking at like I should go back to school. And I was looking at like, what if I just like changed tack again, and I was a therapist, and I could go, all I have to do is take 6 psychology courses, and then I can do the master's at McGill, and then I'll be a therapist. And then I would be like, no, I can't do that because that'll cost me another $30,000, and I can't do that. Yeah. And it was just like until 4 a.m. I was doing this, and I couldn't sleep, and it was just awful. And the next day I was like, okay, this is ridiculous.
Right, but at the time it felt real.
It was so real. But the next day I was like basically realizing that I had to rethink a lot of things. So my life was in a certain way. It was directing me towards Baltimore, where I was going to live with my partner on and off. And so I was going to be transient for a couple of years. I was going to be jumping back and forth between the States and Canada. And in order to make money, I wouldn't be able to have a job. Like I wouldn't be able to have an employer because I wouldn't be allowed to work in the States, and nobody is going to hire you for like 6 months, blah, 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 blah. It was very complicated. And I just realized like my situation hath simplified itself.
Wow.
Because this is also roundabout, but basically like for the past couple of weeks I've been researching coding boot camps, and I was like pretty set on doing one because I was like, you know what, if I just do this for 12 weeks I can get a position, like a junior developer position, and if I just do that for 2 years I can and live very frugally, I can pay off my debts. Maybe like most of them, right?
Right.
And so I kind of like, you know how when you're trying to make a decision, you kind of like make the decision and then sit with it and see how it feels. So I did that. And then after a couple of days, I was like, I don't want to do that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I think the last time I talked to you about it, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. But now I'm just kind of like, listen, basically, I thought that I was unable to do law. I had a horrible time in law school, not because of the topics or the content or the courses. It was because of my mental health, and which led me to isolate myself. So I was completely isolated for 4 years, and I had a horrible time because of that. And so I've been very much like, I don't even want to think about going down that like continuing down the sort of legal career path because my associations with it are so horrible. And I basically like, I think my big thing this week was like opening myself up to the idea that I don't have to shut out this entire path because of the circumstances of my degree. I don't know if that makes sense, but like basically what I'm going to do is I am going to do the licensing process, which takes like, you just have to write the bar. You just have to write the bar exams, which is 2 7-hour exams.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. Easy peasy, right? And then 10 months of articling, which is basically like, if anyone doesn't know, it's just like an apprenticeship basically with a lawyer. And I'm basically thinking, what if I did that and made sure, because I'm in such a privileged position, I can live at home if I don't have a job, right? Like that's the only reason I can do this, is that my parents have money and they have space for me. But basically what I can do, or what I think I want to try to do, is write the exams and then find an articling position that is going to work for me.
Whoa.
Like, because
like be good.
Yeah, like be a good experience and be a challenging, interesting, rewarding experience. And like
with someone you want to work with
in an area of law that I want to work in, or that I think, or that I find the most interesting, which right now is like employment and labor. So I'm thinking like, I have this idea that, you know, careers, they just like sweep you away and you have to take the first thing that comes to you, and you can't have any standards of what kind of position you'll take because, you know, you have to just,
you're lucky to even
get one. Exactly. But what if I just like held myself to a higher standard and made sure, or as you know, as far as possible, that the work situation I'm going to be in is going to not be a detriment to my mental health, which is the most important thing for me right now.
Wow. Yeah.
So I have that going on, and that's not even the main point. It's a big thing, and it's not even the main thing I wanted to say.
But I feel like it has a lot to do with that idea of abundance.
Well,
and like,
right? Like,
because the other one is scarcity, right?
Yeah.
Like I have to take just the first job. And
yeah,
like,
exactly.
or even like I have to start this new career and give myself all of this new debt because I'm so desperate.
Exactly.
Like,
because I'm so desperate
this
for
feels
like,
much more
paying off whatever.
Yeah. Whatever.
And I've just been thinking about money, and the thing that excites me about shaping my next couple of years with really high standards for myself in mind is that I want to carve out time for myself. Like, the thing that's really, really important to me is carving out time for myself to still be able to be creative, do art, read, do things that are important to me. And I've just been thinking like, okay, so for the past couple of months, like ever since we started this podcast, I've been like, I want to do like a video project. And the amount of times that I have tried to make something on my phone and then I upload it to my computer and then I see how absolutely trashy the footage is.
Oh no.
It's just so awful, and there's no way to like make it any better, whatever. So this week, the other money thing that was like sitting on my shoulder was, what if I bought myself a camera? You know, even a sort of starter camera is going to be really expensive for me, considering that I don't have a job right now, living at home.
Right, and there's all of this building anxiety about debt.
And like, do I want to go and spend a huge chunk of money on a camera? Because like I so desperately want a camera that I can use to create the things that I want to create. And
I have a feeling about this, which is like sort of like the feeling about having a minimum viable product, like an MVP, because I feel like sometimes we use something, it reminds me a lot about the clay thing. You're like buying clay and you're like, this isn't the right clay. I don't have enough white. I don't have any of the, fixins that I need to do this right, so I need to get a better thing. And I mean, that was a different thing. But what strikes me about this particular thing is, like, I wonder how much of it, if any, is about sort of being afraid of failure. Like, once you put it out there, or being afraid of no one giving a shit, or,
Yeah.
Because, like, so it's your first video. Probably one person will watch it. Me.
Yeah. Yeah, you.
Like, just kidding. You're like, maybe more than one. Like, all your friends will watch it, but, like, you're not going to be famous for,
I know, but, like, on my
2 years.
phone. So the thing is, like, I cannot do what I need to do on my phone, or what I want to do on my phone.
What is it that you want to do?
I want a certain image quality.
Because
Otherwise it just doesn't look good to me, and I don't like it. I don't know.
So I wonder, because what I remember is, like, you were trying to make something where you had maybe a voiceover, or, like, you had some sort of thing. Yeah. And, like, it feels like done might be better than perfect. Like, your first doing your first project is going to clear the way for you to have new ideas, even if it's not crystal clear or whatever. Like, I think you should, I don't know the details of the project, and sometimes, like, it really does need to be crystal clear, but I feel like, no one's paying you for this. You, like, I feel like you should just do it. Like, do it with what you have.
I have been.
But, like, what, like, you get to a certain point and you're like, this isn't good enough.
This looks terrible.
But I feel like, what if you just finished it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, like, I just wouldn't want you to stop, and because I feel like sometimes when you have an idea and it gets stale, it's like that magic thing where it's like, I had so many ideas and I didn't act on them for, a week, and now they don't seem like good ideas anymore, and they don't seem like,
I don't know, maybe I should try again, but I've been trying to, like, make something that looks and has the feel that I want it to have, and it's not super, I'm almost at this point where, like, I don't care who watches it. Like, I just want to make something that I really like.
And what you really like is,
what I really like is,
polished, like, and clean.
And to look, there's some, like, I have the 8S. I don't know. Do you have an iPhone?
I have no idea. I have Greg's hand-me-down.
Okay.
But I don't know. Yeah.
It's just, like, it's breaking my balls, man. Like, or even if I got, like, an old Canon or something.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know, it's a tough one, because, like, if it's so important, then, like, where is the line of money to spend? And, like, is it worth incurring more debt, or is this just another thing where I feel like this is important and it's,
I know,
just gonna cost me money, and
yeah.
So I wonder, like, I don't think this is true for everything, but, like, at the school, you could rent out, like, equipment and stuff.
At what
like,
school?
I wonder if there's some... At the university that I went to.
Oh.
You could, like, rent out
that's
equipment.
A great
so I wonder
idea.
if, like, it was at the library.
Yeah.
But, like, I wonder if there's a place where you can rent or borrow or, convince someone who has a better camera on their phone to, like, let you borrow it for, an hour or whatever.
That is a fantastic idea. Because then I could see if it actually gives me, or if I can even have the patience to figure out how to get the effects that I want, and, like,
right,
the outcome that I want without spending, like, some money.
Yeah, like, I feel like I don't mean to be discouraging about spending money, but it just doesn't.
Well, I wasn't gonna get one anytime soon anyway. I was just, like, I was thinking, basically just being frustrated with Julia, where she's like, abundance has to do with money too, and, like,
manifest it.
Manifest it. And I'm like, I can't manifest it. Like, I cannot spend this money.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I think this is one of those moments where what she says can either be useful, or we can feel
or I
like...
can leave it for somebody else.
Or, like, sometimes we stop ourselves from getting the usefulness out of something by saying, like, well, I can't, Like, I did that, too. In that part, I have this big sense of, like, well, not everyone can, like, afford, or not everyone can do that. And I can't do that. And I feel like that stops us from thinking of how to do it.
Yeah. But I think that, like, I think that this is a good first step to just, I'm looking on renting in Ottawa. Because I have this one in mind that I really want, and oh shoot, they don't have it. But
I wonder if I have some sort of internalized baggage of like, I definitely have baggage about wasting and not being allowed things that you need, and so I don't want that to come through me towards you.
Yeah.
But like that feeling of like, because I think growing up they'd be like, well, do you really need that? Like my, you know, and like I would just have old stuff and my dad would just fix it, and like so now all my clothes have holes in them, like all of my, you know, like it's really affected my life in a big way, this sort of believing that you can't have things that you want or need. And that's a really tough thing. So I don't mean to you know, push that forward onto you saying anything about camera, like what are you doing trying to get a camera when, you know,
when I have so much debt.
When you have so much debt, or like when you know, isn't your phone good enough? Like that's something that is like from deep within me that I tell myself all the time, and I don't know that it's true. And I think if you could, like, sometimes having the right equipment can help you move through and do a project the way that you want. And the letting yourself have things is important.
Yeah.
And I think, like finding a way to get it without spending, you know, $1,000 is really good.
God.
Like, I don't think you should buy it. That's what I'm saying.
Or at least not until I get a job and I have some plan for my money, because I certainly don't have that right now.
Yeah. And I feel so pained about there's something in there about not letting yourself have the creative things that you want to do, and not letting yourself, I don't know. That's a really difficult one.
Ooh, I'm looking at this rental place.
Do you want to do that later?
Yeah. I just got like off in this dream world of, because it was really exciting.
What the fuck are you doing?
It's like we're doing something right now. I got so excited about the idea of renting, because I think that's a really fun idea that I could.
Good. I wonder.
Spend like a fraction of the cost, get an idea if I even like using this kind of camera before, you know, and like I will have to wait until I get some sort of job to actually buy any sort of camera. But I like this because it allows me to like not wait months and months and months to actually like take a weekend and try to finish a little project.
Like it opens it up again. It's like that abundance thing.
Totally. It's exciting.
Sometimes I forget that there's other options. That's good that it's exciting.
But I'm moving this week, so it won't be this week. This week is going to be crazy for me because I'll be going back and forth, Kingston and Ottawa. Because I have a bunch of like appointments at the end of August in Kingston, and I didn't know that we were moving away from Kingston on like the 25th or the 26th.
Wow.
I didn't know that, so I have all these things to come back for, which is really annoying.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So it's like the stress of packing and then also the stress of appointments.
But that's why this week my thing is going to be, you know what, just sketch in your agenda. Just like draw little pictures around your notes. It'll be fine.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you want to tell me about your sober daily diary?
So it says sober daily diary, but that's just two thoughts jammed into one.
Oh, okay.
I've been thinking a lot about like being a workaholic and needing to be always busy and doing stuff all the time. And like always feeling like there's something I should be doing, and like feeling that scarcity about money, and feeling like, you know, if I'm not working, like kind of like Jackie said about like how much work was I actually doing when I thought I was working all the time, and like I'm just working all the time, and like it's really like now there's almost no excuse because Bird Strips is like stopped and like not stopped, but you know what I mean, like paused, and I haven't been doing prints in so long, but I'm always worrying on it, and like the worrying isn't work, like straight up it feels like work but it's not work. And there's this part in Glennon Doyle's book, and I didn't look it up before we started talking, but it's about her getting sober, I guess, after like drinking And I don't remember her getting sober after, you know, a really long time of being not sober. Mm-hmm. And she said it was just so painful to, like, be alive. And other people are like, that's what it, like, other people who had gotten sober were like, that's just, like, what it is. Like, we've been numbing for so long that, like, when you actually have to, like, feel things and, like, sit with stuff, like, it is so, it's just so painful to be alive. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm having that experience with my phone, like, trying not to use my phone so much. Like, it's just so painful to just be in the moment. And it's just brutal. And, like, because we're going on this, like, road trip, I don't want to really be working. Like, I want to be enjoying it, and I want to be, like, present, and I want to look at stuff to do, and I want to go do it, and I don't want to, like, bring my phone. I don't want to always be, like, worrying about responding to messages. Like, I just want, but it's, like, it's so hard.
I know.
And so yesterday we did the daily diary exercise from Lynda Berry's book, where you, like, list things that you saw, things that you did, and then something that you wondered and something you overheard. And then you pick one of those things and you draw it and then you write about it. And they're all, like, on timers, so it's all short. So basically the whole thing takes, like, 20 minutes. And so yesterday we each started a daily diary. And I think it's going to be really interesting as we go on this trip. Because, like, her thing is, like, the more you write down the things that you overhear, the more you're going to listen to hearing stuff. And, like, the more you have to write down things that you did, you're going to have to, like, do things and, like, see things and, like, really look.
So you're supposed to do that 20-minute little exercise every single day kind of thing?
Yeah, totally.
Ooh.
And she's got, like, in her book, she's got a bunch of different varieties of it, but this is the only one that I remembered. And so it's kind of like you have to draw your whole body in the picture. So you're drawing you doing something that you did. And I think looking back on that stuff, it's always so rich because you notice the things that you included, like the weird stuff. Like, I drew myself eating noodles out of a bowl, and I, like, drew my cold coffee cup on the counter, and I drew Greg's dad in the background, and I, like, because he was making eggs and I was, you know, eating noodles. And I wrote about, like, all the stuff that I was thinking and feeling. Like, you have to write in the present tense. So you have to say, like, I am sitting at the counter eating noodles. I thought this would be really great. Like, I wanted to have something that they don't usually fry them because they're, like, Hungarian egg noodles. And so it's like, they're really good. And so you, like, write about all this stuff. And then when you read it, it vivifies memories, I guess is what I'm hoping.
And it sounds like it'll help you to be more present.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, I don't know, I'm worried because it's going to be really painful.
It is tough. Last night, I went to the bathroom to brush my teeth before bed, and I forgot to bring my phone. And it was awful. It was horrible.
You're like, what do people do this whole time?
What do I think about?
For 2 minutes.
Where do I look? What do I do with my other hand? It was awful. I have the same problem. I totally get it. Shudder.
Yeah. What are you excited about this week?
So this week is a big one. With all the moving and everything.
Right. So basically everything this week.
Yeah. I'm going to sketch in my agenda. And I'm going to... Because, like, I'll have to pack up all my painting stuff. And, like, pretty much pack up all my beading stuff. And so the only thing that I'm going to be able to keep out will be my sketchbook. So it's going to be a sketchy week.
That's exciting. It's a very portable thing.
Yeah, totally. And then I think what I should do is I should sit down and I should do those money prompts.
Ooh!
I think that should be my self-challenge for the week is to actually, like, look at those and put my mind to it and break through some shit because I got a lot of shit. What about you? Daily diary.
This week, and looking forward to the daily diary. I'm also looking forward to, since I painted those pictures in my sketchbook, I've been, like, paying a lot more attention to things that I think are beautiful that would fit in, like, So I took like a square picture, kind of like Instagram style, and then I just like painted it in my sketchbook. And so now I'm looking for more things that I'm gonna love that are squares for painting. I don't like, that doesn't make sense, does it?
I guess I don't know what you mean by things that are squares.
I think I don't mean anything. I think I mean like, I'm just looking for images that I think are beautiful.
Yeah.
And so,
you know what?
What?
I'm just gonna totally interject.
Okay.
I've been having baths this week because I've been stressed out, and that always helps me. And usually in the bath, I will read some like fucking Russian literature or something, and just like try to really impress myself. But this week I was like, you know what?
Why is that so funny?
This week I was like, I don't think I can do that this week. And so I just picked up a book from the bookshelf, and it was my childhood copy of Anne of Green Gables.
Ooh.
And I'm halfway through it because I've had a bunch of baths. And have you read Anne of Green Gables?
No, but I remember when it used to be on TV.
Yeah. So she notices the beauty in everything. That's like a thing about her. She's like, oh, the lake of shining waters. What a beautiful lake. Don't you see how the apple blossoms are reflected in the It's like she is the epitome of being present and noticing beauty. And I was reading it, and I was just so inspired to like see, like look around me instead of being like, oh yeah, there's the tree outside my window. I can look at it and be like, those are really pretty little blossoms on that tree. And look at that adorable little squirrel who's eating a crabapple. And like,
yes.
I don't know, just like kind of get jazzed about things. Like she gets so jazzed, Anne. About like little things, and just gets so excited about beauty and romantic ideas and things. And I was just like, yes, queen.
It's so wholesome.
It is.
I love that. And I feel that about like light on stuff, like to notice how the light changes. Like if you see the tree outside your window, when there's sun on it from one side, it's light on one side and the sun on the other.
Yeah. And like the light is filtering through the leaves right now onto the trunk, and it's just gorgeous. It's this flickering little golden light.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. I can like see it when I'm not looking at it.
Yeah. So like maybe that's like the kind of thing, like when I'm brushing my teeth and I don't have my phone, instead of like flipping out and not knowing what to do with myself, I could just like notice, I don't know, something pretty or something interesting or something unusual in my surroundings, and just like look around me instead of avoiding the world.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I think I remember when I was like having big depression in Montreal in the winter, and like it reminds me of like walking to the dance class that I didn't want to go to, and like just trying not to die basically. And so I'm like listening to the specific sounds that my shoes make when I'm crunching on the snow, just to like clog up my brain with other stuff.
Yes.
And like noticing the light, or I guess not the light, but the color, like looking at colors and naming them, or looking at colors and like something that the sun is shining where there's also a shadow, and being like, that's this color and the shadow is this color.
Yeah.
And I feel like that sort of observation skills really, I think, affects painting and drawing. Because like once you start looking, man, are you ever gonna look?
Yeah.
Like, but I love that idea, and I love that the feeling of being inspired by a character in a book is like totally made up, and like all the things they say are made up, but it just feels so good.
Yeah. So I don't know what I interrupted you from. What were you saying? That you were gonna keep your eyes peeled for
beautiful
for
things,
beauty.
basically.
That's such a wonderful. Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. Oh. And I think something like, I love that I can take a picture of it and paint it later. So like something beautiful that I'm gonna, you know. And I think it's this crazy thing where like photos are only good for like 1 second, like the split second, like a split angle of like a certain light just catches your eye and makes you go like, and like yesterday we were at like a fruit stand, and they had this big, not a basket, but like a raised bed, but like a basket.
Okay.
Not a basket. What is it? A square. It was a square.
A square basket.
But it was like full of plums, and the plums had that like dark blue purpley thing, and then they also had some yellow spots, and they were like just so. I was like, if you could paint that, that would be the most beautiful thing.
Yeah. So did you take a picture?
I did take a picture.
Yes. Good.
But like, it doesn't really capture the magic of what I saw for that moment. But it's like.
But I bet when you paint it, you can bring it back.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about painting. It's a crazy friggin' thing. Wow. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling hungry.
Me too.
It's lunchtime for me, and it's probably breakfast time for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for your week. I feel like it's gonna be a big week. Like, if you do that money stuff, sometimes that stuff just like breaks me open.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna cry.
Yeah. Oh my god, like that part about like what your dad thought money was. Like,
and Mom always said money was da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to be challenged.
I just want to be numb. That's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted. So exactly. I think we're both going to have a week of feeling and not numbness, and it's going to be really hard.
I think so too. I think I'm kind of worried that if I start to feel things, I'll feel very, 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 very sad.
And what happens if you feel sad?
Then I'd sleep all day.
Is sleeping another way of numbing, or is sleeping because like tired from sad?
Both. Both. Definitely it's an avoidance thing. But I don't know. I feel like I'm not really processing the recent change in my life, and I think I probably need to eventually feel something that will sting a lot more than it has been stinging.
Right. Jeez.
Yeah.
Like feels like there's more coming.
Totally.
That's a really, feeling. It's the hardest thing.
Feelings suck.
It's so uncomfortable.
I hate them.
And I think, like, there's this interesting thing that happens when, I feel like just from writing morning pages almost, like, I realize, like, from week to week, my feelings totally change. Like, some weeks I would be in there, write my morning pages, and, like, writing scathing things because I'm so angry. And then the next week I'm like, you know, like I've moved on, or like also I believe something different about myself, or I have a new idea for my future. Like, I feel like when we're so in between in the way that we are, like, my life changes week to week. Like, you know, my whole future changes week to week. And like, everything is always moving and shifting, and feelings included.
That's so true.
Doesn't make it easy, but it's true.
Yeah. Okay. Good talk.
Good talk.
Wait, we should say the things.
Oh yeah, shit. I'm like, don't we have a sign off? And then we do actually, and I just forgot it. So thanks for listening to episode 15.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know. Thanks for listening to Art Horse. You can find show notes on our website. I want to say show notes because I've never said show notes, and like sometimes I put stuff in there and I want you to look at it. So look at the show notes.
Read the show notes.
You can find them in your podcast app or on our website at arthorsepod.com. We also have an Instagram at arthorsepod where you can find all of the pictures from this episode or anything we talked about or thought was interesting. We love getting emails, so you can send us an email if you want about something that you are starting and excited about, or if you've been stuck and you're recently feeling more free to do the things that you want. We love to hear you know, your story and your everything, and that's fun. So send us an email at arthorsepod@gmail.com. If you are really digging the podcast, be sure to leave us a review and rating on iTunes. Is that
question mark?
Question mark? If you love Art Horse, leave us a review.
Period.
Period. on iTunes, because we also, like, that's like an email, but it's like an email that everyone else gets to see, and that's kind of fun too.
What's like an email?
Like with a review.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
an
yeah,
email.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And I love reading them, and, you know, we love to see that you like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like everything.
Oh, yeah, and Fiona has Twitter.
Oh, yeah, and Fiona has Twitter. It's at Fiona of Art Horse. I love Twitter, and I love tweeting stupid things, and I love when people tweet at me, so come tweet at me.
Yay.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm gonna go have lunch. Nailed it.
Cool. Okay, so we say our fake bye?
Let's
And
say
then a
our
real bye?
fake one, yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.